All right, welcome.
What's up, Coach?
How you doing, man?
What's going on?
I actually think there's another thing we could also do. So it's great to be back. We're going to talk a little bit about the All Northeast camp. The kids that came out and competed, very, very talented group. It wasn't a gigantic group, but it was a very talented group. We're gonna highlight some of those guys. Some really outstanding performers. If you guys like this, we encourage you to send us an email. Maybe I'll put that down there because we'll do more of it. Obviously, we do a lot of the interviews with the coaches, which has been great. Feedback has been phenomenal on that. But if you'd like us to do a little bit more on the players, we'd be glad to do that. We'd be glad to talk more about the players, talk more about when we have camps. Even just go on and talk about some of the top players we analyze, because Derek breaks down a lot of the top players. I basically send them over to video, which means I get to look at the video, obviously, because I'm cutting it up and putting together. And then Derek really breaks it down and does a great job of, ranking those guys and really going into depth about their capabilities. And so if you want to see more of that, I'm just looking real quick to see where the
let us know. That'd be great.
Yeah, we definitely would be glad to. So you could shoot me an email at or even Derek an email, or Coach D. Put it in here in the chat, Coach Schuman or Coach D at Depascale at yahoo.com. So if you guys are interested, that's the easiest way. Or our Twitters are usually showing on here. I don't know, for some reason today they're not showing on our headers, right? Isn't that weird?
I don't see you either.
Do you see? What do you mean you don't see me?
You're just a black screen right now.
Am I really?
Yeah.
How could that be?
I don't know.
That's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You don't see me as a
Nope, just a black screen.
a black screen.
It's a new one.
That's a new one. So maybe I should get out? How do I get myself out?
How do you is it because maybe you were trying to share a screen?
No, I unshared it now.
Interesting.
So you can't see me at all.
Negative.
That's interesting. So maybe I'm gonna get out here. I'm gonna leave the studio. You stay in the studio.
Sounds good. Little technical difficulties. So, like I said, this is kind of a different. We're doing a little bit of a different format today. Like Coach said, we had a event. There you go. There he is. Now he's back.
Can you see my face?
Yep. Now you're good.
And how come we don't have a our little like blur below us? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
We usually have our.
But I see what you put in the chat.
Yeah, I can see the chat, right? But usually we have like our at Coach Schuman and
our actual like
little
handles or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't see any of that.
I don't see any of that right now.
Nope.
That's interesting. Guests.
We learn something all the time.
Layout. Hotkeys. No. Recording. No. Audio. My audio. I don't like that audio. I'm going to switch to this audio. And then, I don't know why it's not showing. Isn't that wild?
Very.
That is interesting. I don't know why we can't see that. But anyway, we put it in the chat here, at Coach Schuman. And at, what is it, Coach D?
Coach D, NUC Sports.
I gotta put it in there for everybody. All right, cool. So let's talk about the All Northeast camp. those days we had a wide range of ages in there, but we had some really good players. I'll let you kind of dive in on the MVPs first, and then we'll talk about each guy that we saw, and guys that didn't win the MVPs, because there's some kids that really did well that weren't MVPs as well.
Very well. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, listen, like I said, and you kind of hit it as we started, smaller group, right? But the quality I think was pretty high. MVP wise, we're talking, and like you said, a variety of rate of ages, right? We had everything from 2025s down to 2030s, right? So, but each one of these guys, I give them a lot of credit. Saturday night they came out, they competed, and I think each one of them took something away from it, and I think they got a lot better, to be honest. So MVP wise, I guess we'll start with our overall guy, Tony Creedle, a running back DB from Wall High School. He's a 2025. You want me to just run through each of one, or do you want me to
Yeah,
just?
I'll show their picture real quick, just so you can see them, and then then we can really run into them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
And
yeah,
look,
yeah.
Tony's been, with us for a couple years now. He's no stranger, I would say, to showcases and whatnot. Tony is definitely, 5'7", 5'8", maybe, right? Kind of around 170. But I mean, he is, and you can see some of his pictures. He's well put together for a short guy, and whatnot. He ran a 4.78 40, which was, let's see, I think overall that was the third fastest time we had on the day. So we know he can run a little bit. He had a 4.32 shuttle, which is excellent. And then he jumped 8.2, right? So, but overall, I think Tony really kind of separated himself because he does a lot at a very high level, right? He can go out there and cover people, and then he can also kind of catch the ball and do those things out of the backfield, or whether it be from a slot position, right? And we've seen Tony compete at a high level. He's a competitor and whatnot, and going into his senior year, hope to really see him kind of turn the corner with his hometown team.
Yeah, he's extremely quick. In tight spaces, got excellent change direction, evidenced by that 4.32 shuttle. Haven't seen him in 7-7 with us for a couple of years. He's really explosive, and he has the ability to really make explosive plays. Like, he covers ground really, really quickly.
Yeah, he's got great makeup speed.
Great makeup speed, and really, really tight spaces. He does extremely well. So I think that's some different makers. He excellent hands. I mean, catches the ball real well. And he is put together. When you see him in person, you really see how well put together he is. And at 170, 175 pounds at 5'8" is a yoked up guy. Really.
Yep.
Really built, but he moves incredibly well. He's not stiff or anything like that. He changes direction.
No, he's smooth.
Really smooth. All right. Next. Then Tony was the overall MVP, right?
What's that?
Tony was the overall MVP, right?
Yep, he was the overall MVP for, and we kind of separated it up. We gave 2 overall MVPs, one for the older guys, one for the younger guys, and whatnot. Our younger guy MVP, a 2030 guy, Robert Bubba Murphy, right? And Murph is a great kid, right? He plays with us as well. Does a lot of things. He's a DB, kind of guy. He's a running back. At that age, really, we kind of encourage him to play a lot of positions, right? So he was catching passes out there. He was covering guys, doing a lot of good things. Times wise, I mean, look, we really can't correlate.
I don't
look at it. He's got times on him, but that's not a factor, right? The kid understands football. He loves what he's doing, right? Had a good conversation with dad as well about he just wants to be involved in football in any way, shape, or form. And I mean, look, when you looked out on that field, like, he was there, and like you saw him, and he stuck out because he's the youngest of everybody. But I mean, he had no fear of putting his nose in there, getting in the drills with all the older guys like he should. Just wants to go out there and compete. Great kid. He does a lot of cool stuff, man.
Yeah, and I wonder if he might actually. 'Cause I think 2030 is the only age, the lowest age you could put in there.
Right. So he's
So
probably younger.
he's probably 2031, I think.
Right. So
So
that would put him, let's say, fifth grade, I believe.
yeah, yep, yep. That's
And
pretty cool.
and look, he does a lot of great things, right? Like he's just a great kid. He's currently, he's a wrestler as well. But he currently right now he's growing his hair out and he's donating it to cancer. So, and it's the
Great
second
kid.
time he's done this. So, just an overall great kid, competed at a high level. I'm excited, for him to be within our program and organization for a lot of years to come. And then, hopefully, he's a Howell kid too. So he's kind of in a good neighborhood area, kind of, with a lot of youth sports available to him. And he takes advantage of it. So I look forward to seeing Bubs do some good things.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He's always competed and competed saying
Oh,
really tough.
he's got a
In
great personality. He's funny as hell.
great personality. That's why he's got the nickname Bubba. So
That's it, buddy.
no doubt. Okay, next, who do we got?
All right, so let's move on to our quarterbacks. We had two. First one, high level guy. We've seen him. 5'11", right around 6 foot, 160. Eric Beach, right? Eighth grader, gonna be heading to Camden Catholic in the fall. Right around a 5 flat 40, which is something we've seen improve on him. I don't know what can you say about him? He throws a great ball, right?
Yep.
He's got a lot of touch. He understands the game itself. He can do a lot of different things. I think he's a smart player. He plays on 7-on-7 teams, so he's seen
National
out.
level teams.
Yeah, I
Yep.
mean he's national, right? Like, and so he's seen a lot of that stuff. Where I think he is way ahead of most quarterbacks his age. And going into Camden Catholic, he's from down there. I think it's a great move for him. He's been pretty much a private school type of, kid his entire life. Works really hard, does a lot of things. Physically, like I said, I think he throws a great ball. He's got a lot of touch, accuracy. His timing is phenomenal, footwork, all those kind of things. I think he's pretty much, I'd like to see him get a couple inches taller, which would help him tremendously. But, I think that stuff comes with it.
No doubt about it. I think Eric really he can drive the ball. He has excellent touch, like you talked about. I think his footwork is excellent. We'll show some of it in a little bit, but he also keeps his feet apart. Well, he doesn't get
Yeah.
all tight on himself. He has good base when he's throwing, allows him to get a quick release. Like you say, plays on a national level at 7-on-7. And then he's also, heading Camden Catholic. He's a kid that is going to be a high level prospect as he continues to grow, continues to improve. He's really got high level capabilities. Potentially be a big time Division I quarterback. That's Eric Beach.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I look forward to it. Excited to see, where that process takes him, right? Because, he's been involved before with a lot of this stuff. He's been around it. He's like, he's accelerated in terms of most of the guys at his age, right?
Absolutely.
So I look forward to seeing what he brings. Second quarterback MVP that we had, a guy that a lot of people, talk about and whatnot, 2028, Zamir Weaver, right? He's going to be heading to St. Thomas Aquinas in the fall. Tall kid, eighth grade, 6'3", 175, runs well, right? 4.92 40 as an eighth grader, 4.7 shuttle, jumped 7.9 8. Like I said, he looks the part. He's long. His delivery, he's got great touch. Okay, he's athletic. He can run for a long guy. I think he understands when to use his athletic ability, but when also not to. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's, something as a young QB really kind of sets him aside. But I know Coach Holman over there at STA is excited to have him in the building.
Yeah, he stands out as just a 2028. His size,
Yep.
really, he's got a great frame. He's nice and long. He threw an excellent ball from what I saw in the clips. And then he physically, he is a guy that at 6'3" already looks like he's
Yep.
physically could be a senior. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be a kid that I think is going to be, if he continues to develop, does well at SDA, be highly recruited, is another, I think second quarterback that's a potential big time guy as well.
Right.
So,
I mean, you look at his measurables, right, as an eighth grader already. He's played in, the AYF All-Star games for the Shore. Was down in Florida, part of like a championship team, so he's been around winning culture. He's just like, I look forward to seeing what he does, like I said, because you're talking 6'3" already, right? Like the measurables are there. As long as he continues to get, bigger, stronger, faster, and then develop that whole quarterback aspect of it, I think, people are really going to start to turn. I mean, look, guys already know who he is based off of doing the
yep.
AYF All-Star stuff, so he's already on the radar. I would like, I wouldn't be surprised to see if he's a guy that is already getting talked about, real soon.
No, there's no doubt about it. I think real soon. I
Yeah,
think these are things that start to break guys out. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that is really, really got. I mean, phenomenal upside.
absolutely, big time. All right, moving on from that, we're gonna look at receiver slash fastest man of the day in a 2028 Brandon Thompson, Ocean Kid. Not very big, but again, only in eighth grade, 5'5", about 140. He ran a 4.59 40, so he was
You don't see
cooking.
his headshot
And
here, but
yeah, and then shuttle wise, he was around a 4.6, jumped 8.9, which is pretty damn good for a guy 5'5". Explosive, right? Just made a lot of plays overall. Uh, Good routes, right? Quick guy. I think he could play inside or outside. He can also, jet sweep guy. Went up for the ball, he attacked it. He wasn't just sitting around waiting for it. And that's one of the things I think as a young receiver, those guys really go up and get it. Which was, I think that's rare for those younger guys. A lot of them just kind of sit there and they're waiting for the ball. And then he was willing to compete. He wanted to go against everybody and anybody that wanted to go out there, come cover me and see if you can. So
now he didn't
I
have
think
a
he's
headshot, right? Because
what's that?
I don't see his number 20 headshot.
Oh no, he's it. I mean, I'm sure he's
No.
somewhere.
Yeah, no, I'm looking to see if I find the clips from him, picture of him here, but I don't see 20 head. Let's see. Which goal tagged a lot of this? Oh, here we go. We got something. To put on the tube here. So a 4.5 and change 40 at a 2028 is elite. Beyond elite. Okay. There he is. There we go. Nice action shot right there. So 4.5. What do you got? 4.5.
4.59.
4.59 on him in the 40. I was just pulling it. Okay. 4.59 to 40. 8.9 broad, 4.61 shuttle. Probably never did before. He just did it there. Those numbers, 4.59 and 8.9 as a 2020 as an eighth grader, are elite level numbers. It's going to be interesting to see because he's going now. Is he going to be going to
Now,
high
I
school
don't
next?
know if he's going public, right? There's a lot of rumors about him going private school.
Or
And
is he reclass? Is he
I think I'm not sure. I
okay?
don't know. I think I'm not really sure, to be
So
honest,
it's
but I
20. So
know there's
2028 means he's going to high school next year, though, right? So
correct. But I think there's talk of him possibly going to either IMG
oh
or
wow,
RB, yeah, or IB or RBC. I believe it's one of those two it's coming down to. So I mean, look, elite speed, right? And obviously it's hard to always gauge size at that level or at that age, but I think that might be the only thing that could possibly hold him back, obviously, is his height, kind of going into it. But, other than that, I mean, elite kid.
yeah. I mean, 4.59 in eighth grade is elite speed. In the old days, when we used to have hundreds and hundreds of kids at each camp, if you had an eighth grader ran 4.5, and change, that
Yeah,
was
here we go.
most likely that was going to be a kid that was going to be one of those early offer kids. So continues to work on his skill sets. Obviously, he's young. He's got to keep working on his hands, his skills. I mean, his change direction was excellent. He's fast as all heck, straight ahead speed. So we'll see. We'll see what comes there. But that's the third in a row. Younger guy that you got to say is potentially a big time prospect. So to give kind of people an idea, some camps you'll have 300 kids at it and they won't have 3 big time prospects. There are 3 big time prospects in the 30 kids that were at this camp. So just to start right now, we haven't. I have more. We have more. Okay, but that's 3 right there. Okay, so like I said to people, I used to be our camps. I guess were for everybody, but now it's just for guys who want to be great. Okay, so there you go. That's my 2 cents on it. You listen, if you want to go run in front of Division III coaches, which will probably recruit you anyway. In a lot of cases, if you send your film and spend a lot of time on campus with them, which is probably the better route, that's fine. But if you're a big time guy, potentially a big time guy, this is the way to go. All right, we're on to our next guy.
Let's switch up. Let's go with one of our a big guy, right? 2025 kid, 6'1", 225. Luca Torriello from Butler High School. D lineman. That's his primary, right? Probably could play O-line if he needed to, right? But D-line guy. Ran a 4.91, which I was extremely impressed with.
Again.
And then his, look, he ran a 4.91 and a 4.99, right? So 40 time, it's not like it was what is this, right? Like it was consistent. So 4.74 shuttle, jumped 8.4 as well. Look, he plays that small group 1, Butler High School and whatnot, but strong as all hell. Excellent first step. He's also a big time wrestler, wrestles heavyweight for them. Athletic kid. When we were going through drills with the D-line guys, I mean, like I said, his overall quickness was just, his first step off the ball. You could tell it was powerful. It was, every step was with a purpose. Not a lot of wasted movement, right? You can see he's pretty well put together. So, I mean, look, 6'1", yeah, 225, okay. Like I said, that's obviously the measurables. All right, but like I said, I think he can do a lot of things and then use his speed and quickness and that first step to win a lot of reps. And that's kind of what he did.
I think that's the big thing there is he is explosive. 4.91 tells me explosive. The 8 as a D lineman, 8 broad jump tells me he's an explosive guy. He at 6'1", 225, probably going to be at the college level a defensive lineman.
I was definitely impressed with his speed. That's for sure. Right. Like, and I had heard a lot about, whatever, and did some of the research and whatnot. But I mean, overall, when he, looking at that stuff and then to watch those things, watch that speed correlate to the drill work, right. And coming off the ball, which is, now I can see, okay, wow, like he's going to cover ground and, you know what I mean? So yeah, I was extremely impressed.
Yeah, it's a guy that's going to have a really good. Should have a really good year. Obviously,
look, dad played at Marist, right? So,
right,
and dad is every bit of 6'3", 6'4", right? So if he could shoot up another inch or two, he's got a real good opportunity to kind of be at that
playing in the NEC conference, that NEC,
right, and that's where
Pioneer.
that's where I looked at it, like maybe a lower
NEC,
level
Pioneer, right,
low level FCS, and if not, like
St. Anselm level,
especially after talking to Chad Brain over St. Anselm, like like a lot of these guys now, it's like wow, these guys really can factor in here.
What's that? What is that called? What is that conference called? The Northeast 10, right?
Oh, yeah, I think that's what
Northeast
it is.
10. I bet. Let me see if I'm right. I'm curious if I'm right on that one. Northeast 10. Yeah, Northeast 10.
And there's one thing that really you only get by when you have these, and I think you wouldn't normally get this at some of these larger camps is when we're there, we get the opportunity to actually talk to these kids and have conversations with them and find out a little bit more about them. And to be honest with you, like just going through this whole roster and having conversations with these guys, academically, most of these kids are way ahead of other guys, right? Like, just looking at it, like we're not talking about guys that are scared to tell us what their GPAs are. You know what I mean? So I think that really helps these guys in moving forward, is that, they don't have to deal with that stuff. They're not worried about, oh, what's my grades, or do I, could I get here if I wanted to get here, or that kind of stuff. They're all already, over a 3.0, if not way better.
There's no doubt that's a big factor on it.
Right. I mean, he's a 3.2 kid. You know what I'm saying? It's just, these guys, like I said, it's just, these guys they're just so far ahead of that. And like I said, I don't know if, now look, you can go on their profiles or whatever on Twitter and whatnot, or X, and figure out, what their GPAs are, and that kind of stuff. But I just think those conversations that we get to have with them while, we're putting them through their drills, or we're having those, I think that's what separates us, that more personal level of, there's not 400 kids here, waiting in a line for however long, and then, you're just a number, right? So, these guys kind of,
Yeah.
you get to have those conversations with. I think I think that stuff matters. So
Yeah, no, I think that's a big difference maker as far as from a camp standpoint.
and I think the parents see that too, Dave, with us. You know what I'm saying? When they show up, they see, oh wow, there's not that many guys here. Oh, look, that coach is interacting with my son, or look, like, I get to talk to that coach, right? Like, you go to
Right.
showcases, before you know, it's like, hey, let's get online, register, and now we're gone. Whereas, we talk to the parents, we have those conversations. We could, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us, like, and we're gonna answer, right?
Absolutely.
So definitely something out.
That's perfect. All right, let's go into the next guy.
Linebacker Angelo Stallone, Monsignor Farrell. He's a 2027, 5'11, 175, also a 4.99 guy. Ran a 4.2 shuttle.
And he's a young guy too.
And he's a puppy. And that was the fastest shuttle of the day. And this is what's also great about him, right? He broad jumped in 8.2. Okay. And yeah, stacked. Like, and then look at it, just a puppy, loves the contact aspect of forts, goes to Monsignor Farrell on Long Staten Island, right? Plays linebacker and, fullback, running back. What I thought was great was he came to our winter showcase as well and was highlighted as a running back, right? Like, he really kind of did extremely well as a running back, fullback. And then when I saw him Saturday evening, he said, Coach, I'm going more linebacker today. Like, I'm going to focus a little bit more on that, right? So understands the whole look, and you'll see some clips of him covering guys. Didn't matter whether it was a running back, receiver, he was out there covering people, also catching, running some routes, doing some things like that to kind of work his hands athletically. I think above level. And like I said, another young guy who already has some of those times measurables and attributes that you're looking for at the higher levels.
Yeah, so 4.99 as a freshman, that's pretty good. I think if he can keep working his way each year, get a 10th, he'll be down in the 4.7, low 4.7 range. A 4.2 shuttle is outstanding. 8.2 broad's decent. He's got to keep working on that. He's very quick and he's very explosive. He uses his hands real well. I remember from the winter showcase, and he moves his feet and he understands concepts really well. Like he picks up something. Smart kid, yeah, picks something really well. And he's got good size. So at linebacker at 5'11" ish. Two bills. This is a guy that close on his way to getting to 2 bills. Is going to be a guy. Gets another inch or two. He'll be in business. I could see him being like a 6 feet, 210, 215, maybe 220.
Yeah, be excellent
as a senior. And really be in great shape. He's potentially a Division I prospect at the linebacker position. I know he plays fullback and running back, which I'm sure school makes him, he's probably a nightmare for people. But at the college level, I see him, being a linebacker with that capabilities. A fullback is, it depends on what's in vogue, I guess, at the time when he graduates. So You know,
But I think he's also, if it's an offense or whatever, like where he could be that H-back, right? Maybe
yep,
use him as like a tight endish type of, look, both sides of the ball. I'm looking back at some of his stuff now. It's excellent to see that, when he came to our showcase in the winter, he ran a 5:03:40. Now he's already brought to a 4:99, right? Like that's pretty impressive. You know, uh, he increased his broad as well. He went from an 8.2 to an 8.5, so
right,
you see these little improvements. And if you think about it, that's only what, February to May.
right.
So if he's already, you know what I mean, doing things like that. And look, again, another great kid, fun to talk to, because I'm an acquired taste, that, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but
yeah,
these guys, they love it. And especially when you see guys and you kind of know a little bit more about them, or hey buddy, how you been, they're just so excited. And then obviously a top competitor, right? And he loves it. Loves the game itself, and I think that's going to take him far. Tough kid.
absolutely. There's no doubt about it. He's a physical kid. He's only going to continue to improve.
Right, and had a
Um,
great program.
yeah, right. And at Staten Island, Monsignor Farrell is one of the top
Is
programs,
yep,
if not
is
the
the
top.
staple. So he's around
Right,
it every day,
right.
and he lives it, breathes it, you know. So that's I mean, like I said, look forward to seeing him. All right, moving on. Another guy that was at our winter showcase and then came back for this one. Deshae Diggs, okay, 2028 is it 2028? I believe. Yep, 2028. DB receiver, MVP DB, covering guys all over the place. He was a 4.8 as well, right? And I thought that was
2028.
impressive, right? He ran a 4.8, a 4.840, 4.7 shuttle, which can get better. 7.11 broad, so he's right on the cusp of that. 5.6, 140. A little light, obviously, but quick as hell. Excellent cover skills, right? Was lining up against whoever, whenever, as an eighth grader. Wasn't worried about any of that stuff. Just came out and competed and got a lot better from our last time he was with us working out to this time, which, say what you want, guys come back to our events. And I
Yep,
think that's something that separates us. Is a lot of these guys go to a showcase and, oh, okay, I went there once, I don't have to go back. Our guys love coming back because one, they either come back and they focus on a different position, or they like the fact that we allow them to do both. They like the fact that we have more of the younger guys, I think, right? Where
yep.
there's not really maybe such a market, and especially at some of these larger camps where, look, like, if you got all these guys waiting in a line, and then guys, you know how it works, like, I want more reps, guys just start cutting. The younger guys, they're going to shy away and not, get up there and go. That's just not where they're at yet. But like I said, I love this kid. Great competitor. Works hard too. You can tell, like, it matters to him in terms of, like, coach, I've gotten better each time. Deshae Diggs. So
Yeah, the 40 is a great 40 at that age. Again, that's height and size. Obviously, if he continues to get a few more inches,
yeah,
then he can become a big time prospect. He's got that potential. Um,
fourth fastest 40.
yeah, very, really, really. I'm trying to figure out where exactly I see the school there. Trying to figure out.
Oh, Urban Promise.
Yeah, I'll pull it up here. Give me 1 second. But yeah, he's
Yeah, I don't
definitely.
know what his move is for next year,
Yeah, that's right.
obviously.
Let's say, yeah. So Deshae is from.
Where
There we go.
let's see.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Pennsauken. All right. So we're out to Pennsauken, where there's a lot of speed. I wonder if he runs track. So that's a big track town. Pensauken's south of us. I think south of even Philly. South of
I
that Camden
believe,
area.
and if I'm not mistaken, I believe either maybe it's his dad or uncle or someone coaches at um Camden High School.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and I believe he's also not a he's a running backs coach football, but also a track and field coach, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that my man has grown up around speed, with speed, knows speed, and is only going to continue to use that speed to his advantage when it comes to doing other things.
Yep. So Deshay definitely runs for the Camden Track Club, and this is quick and dirty research. So
Yep, and
bear
I'm
with
looking at
me.
some of his I'm looking at some of the stuff that when he was with us uh in the winter, right? So in the winter showcase he ran a 4.94 40, right? He ran a 4.8 the other day. His shuttle was a 4.8 the last time, a 4.84. He's at a 4.73 this time, right? Uh Broad jumps, like, everything has gotten better, and then physically as he gets older, matures, and continues to grow. I mean, let's go, right? Like, let's go.
He's run a good. He's run a decent. He doesn't run. I mean, I don't see a ton of the meets, but 100 meters. He ran 12.32 um in the 100 in May. So this might have been the same day that he came. I think he ran that track meet the day that it says May 11th. So he
Yeah,
must
so
have
he
ran.
did. Yeah, well, he said that. Yeah, he said that when he got there. He's like, I just came from track. Okay, double
Right.
duty.
So he ran 12.32 in that meet. That looks like one of his first meets. By the end of the summer, he's probably going to be around 12.0, late high 11s. Eighth grade, that's very good. And so he's only going to continue to really to rise. That's a good time. And for an eighth grader, that means that as a ninth grader, he'll be a mid 11s guy, maybe lower. So
Right.
as you just saw, we have Elijah St. Hilaire. Elijah St. Hilaire, it's his brother. Kobe St. Hilaire, who we do a lot of work with from Don Bosco, just finished fourth in the Catholic school Bergen County Championships at 11.54 FAT. Right, so this kid's in eighth grade, yeah, and he's just and the way track works in junior track. The spring, like the late spring, is when you start to get to your bigger meets because it goes until like June, July. I think late June. So they're just going to be starting to peak in at the end of May, June for junior track. So
Right.
you probably expect him to run maybe below 12 under as an eighth grader, which is very good. It correlates to what he ran there in the 40. So
Stud.
could be a potential big time prospect. All right, we got more, right? I think.
Yep. Last guy, right? And this guy really was, I have to say probably rivaled Tony for the overall 2025 kid from Hamilton High School, Josiah Miller, 5'10", 185, great looking kid, 4.67 40, 4.58 shuttle, broad 8.5, plays that outside, plays that roll down safety type rover, outside linebacker type of guy, but also plays running back, which I think he's really going to have a breakout year for those guys. This kid was, he was all over the place. There's a ton of clips of him intercepting balls, one-on-ones, covering guys, press coverage, off coverage. He had great hips, good makeup speed, right? Excellent hands for a DB. I just think he's a well put together kid, and I think this is really going to be. I think he's a sleeper, to be honest with you. I mean, because physically he just looks like a specimen. I think he's going to get. I think this is going to be a very big year for him, because I think he's kind of been under the radar a little bit over there, because they have some pretty good players that have been playing at that position. But I think really this is his year. So Josiah Miller, Hamilton High School.
Yeah, let me pull Josiah's picture up here because I was experiencing technical difficulties. There we go. All right, good. Josiah Miller. So his physicality and his size stands out.
Right away.
Right. So great program.
Yep.
in Hamilton High School, which has produced a ton of Division I players. He's an athlete, and he's a guy that coverage stuff was excellent. He could play both sides of the ball. He's a physical guy. He moves really well. That 40 is excellent. What does he run about size wise? Like 195, 190, 180?
Yeah, right around there, like 185, 190 ish.
Yeah, so 4'6", 7", 8.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a strong kid too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's got a 465 squat, 300-pound bench, 425, deadlift, cleaning 200 pounds. You know what I'm saying? He's put together. 4.67 40 is, that's moving for a guy his size. 3.5 GPA. You know what I mean? He's the whole package, right? So if he can now take all of those intangibles and do that stuff, and now translate it to some tape, right, on the field, help those guys get a couple more wins. He's really somebody that if guys want to focus, if guys are looking for that type of prospect, like there's nobody really on his radar, right? Because he's kind of that sleeper where, look, we've seen those guys that come into their senior year and now all of a sudden it's like, well, how come nobody's talked to this kid before? And it's like, hey, not everybody understands how rosters are, right? Like he's been sitting behind some guys. It's not that he wasn't good enough to play. It's just that there were guys that were better than him. And that's no knock on him. It's just kind of is what it is. Also, when you play at a high level program like, public school, Hamilton High School, like, there's going to be other players that are out there, which is why, now all of a sudden he comes to camp with us, he comes to a showcase. We get his name out there a little bit. Guys start asking some questions, and all he's got to do is, follow through.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a good prospect, and he's a guy that I could really see breaking out in the fall. So, yeah, he's a guy definitely to continue to watch. All right, then we have a few guys. That's all for MVPs, right?
Yep.
Then we have a few guys that want to mention. I think the first one is our 6'5" receiver freshman from West Orange, right?
Yep, Sidney Padilla.
Padilla.
Yep, Padilla. I mean, listen,
Yep.
absolute. I mean, Sidney. I mean, obviously measurables, right? Like just measurables itself. Obviously, you're talking as a freshman, 6'3", 6'4", 200-pound guy. I mean, big boy, right? He ran a 4.9 140, which extremely impressive at that size. Obviously, I'd like to see his broad jump go a little higher than what it was. I think he jumped like a 6.94. But
I think he's got to be a tight end down the line.
I concur. I think, well, look, receiver, tight end, D line, it's all circled on his card, right?
D-line.
So
yep.
I'm sure he, and when we talked, it was more, he was used more as a tight end, obviously, right? But I mean, look, he's still 4.91 at that size. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's moving. So, and look, we both know Coach Grant at West Orange. He's going to use him to the best of his ability.
Yeah, so that's the fifth guy that
and you'll see some clips, right? Like we have some clips of him and the drone footage where, he's out there and he's impressive, like, routes against Tony, who can cover with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? Where this kid's willing to go after it, get after it, and kind of go from there. But I really like him. Obviously, I love, the program that he's at. West Orange produces a lot of high-level guys. He plays against high-level competition. He's going to do some things. I just have a feeling, you know what I'm saying? Look at that frame too, Dave. Like, he's going to put on some, I mean, look, he's already 200 pounds, but like put on that muscle mass. I mean, he could be a real next level guy.
There's no doubt about it. That size is a big deal, and he's only going to continue to get bigger and stronger. So, it's a guy that's going to have big time potential. What position probably remains to be seen going forward, but he's got the frame, and that's where he got to start.
Listen, what do I always say? You can't build a house without a good foundation. I mean, Come on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like 6'3", 200 pounds ain't a bad way to start as a freshman.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's a great way to start. A couple younger guys that I want to highlight here real quick. I want to we'll bring it up here. Clay Freeman. So he's a young guy.
Clay's great, man.
Yeah, he was. I think he might be 12 now.
23. Yeah, he's a 2030.
Yeah.
Legacy kid, I like to call him, right? Legacy kid, because we've worked with his older brother was a Del Barton kid, quarterback coming out of Del Barton. He's recently just left Northwestern. He'll be at Columbia next year. His brother was a phenomenal, just overall kid in general. And Clay follows kind of right in that whole staple. We were fortunate enough to see him play a good amount of 7-on-7 games as well. He's a smart kid. I think he knows the game a lot more. The thing that was most impressive to me was the timing of his throws. He knew when to throw it, when not to throw it, right? Which was also pretty impressive to me. Look, we know that, Mr. Freeman does a great job with him in terms of quarterback play and whatnot. I mean, the kid's footwork is on point, his arm angles, everything, all of those types of things, and comes from one hell of an athletic family because, I believe his older sister is at Lehigh lacrosse. So, I mean, he's the baby of the family, buddy. So, lot to live up to. But if there's anybody that can, it's definitely him. I also just love the way he also took control of things, right? And these are some of the intangibles that guys like, may not look at when they go to these showcases, or you may not have the opportunity to look at when there's so many other kids. And I know I keep referencing it, but I think it's extremely important. He was one of those guys that was like, hey, guys, let's get in a line over here. And then, oh, hey, move out a little bit or tighten down, or, hey, let's not run this, let's do this, right? And at 12 years old to be able to do that. And it wasn't like he was talking to kids his age. These were kids that were older, right? And he still commanded. You could just see that, kid's a quarterback, right? He understands it and can control a huddle. And then look, he can drop it in there. Obviously the distance of his throws and all of that stuff will come with his age and the stronger he gets as he matures. But I was just so extremely impressed with the timing and the accuracy that he threw his ball with.
Yeah, I think his delivery is excellent. He's getting well coached. His brother plays Division One. I think that he's going to be a big kid. His father's 6'4".
Absolutely.
And his arms, he's got a very good arm. Like you said, the anticipation is excellent for a young guy. We've seen him in 7-on-7. And I think he's only going to continue to improve. He's got a great demeanor. He's got that quarterback demeanor. He handles things very well. And he's got a great upside. Clay Freeman.
And he's got great options too. Whether he goes to Del Barton like his brother did or not, I mean, who knows where that's going to end up. But I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if all of those guys are looking for his services.
Yeah. I mean, he's a couple years away too, as well. So
he's got time. You never know how this landscape is going to change, right?
Yeah. All right, I'm going to bring up. Let's bring up iPod. What I really like. I think we got to keep. Let me see. Oh,
Jake. So Jake, right? Jake, another 2030 kid. I believe he's a Wall kid.
Yeah, yes. I think he's going to St. James next year.
Right. I mean, look, right now he's 5'9", 150, right? And Dad made sure, because he forgot to fill it out in his card, but I got a message and said, hey, Jake wanted you to know he's this size, this weight. So he wanted me to know that. So I'll have to make sure we double down for him. Look, he ran a 5'9", 840, which I was extremely impressed with, especially at his age, such a young buck. I mean, look, I know he's heavy on his feet. And I get it, right? But I think that speed will come. I was glad he was under a 6 flat. Okay.
His
Yeah,
hands are
I mean,
good.
and like I said, he's big.
Runs good
He is
routes.
a bigger look. The family's big, right? It's just kind of I see him as more of a tight end linebacker kid,
That's
right?
what he
I
looks like
don't.
himself as, tight end. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really kind of where he's going to make his mark. I know he's a basketball kid as well, right?
Right.
So his footwork is great. And just another football kid, right? Like a football guy. Just he loves the game, likes to compete. You know, and I love watching how these guys interact with each other. You know, when they're standing on the line and whatnot, or for being so young, right? A lot of these guys, like, they're not intimidated by the older kids whatsoever. And it's
No,
not like they're disrespectful or anything in that manner, but they're willing to get out there and chop it up with these guys. And you know, look, they're the first ones to be like, hey, nice job, man, or hey, good job, or hey, don't do that. Like, I just love that stuff, you know?
I mean his father's I would say about 6'7", 6'6", and
Yep.
uh, he's got good genetics from that standpoint. He's got good size. Father was a football player in college. I think CW Post. I want to say. Well, what is it
Oh,
now?
baby. LIU.
It's LA. Yeah, yeah, that's right. It used to be called CW Post, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They were Division 2, then they transitioned to now they're LIU, Long Island University Sharks, and they're FCS now.
And mother played basketball at Fordham, so that's a pretty good
Yeah, that's
combination.
not that's pretty good genetics.
Pretty good genetics there. So yeah, and father, I think he was a tight. I'm pretty sure he was a tight end.
I could
I
see that.
mean, and coach at RBC, right? So that's probably, I'm assuming, as long as he's still coaching there, he'll be going there. So, um, yeah, I mean, you got a kid that's going to, there's, so you got Freeman, that would probably be a sixth potential Division 1 prospect out of this group. Uh,
And these guys are young, right? Like these guys are
iPod is the
puppies.
seventh, right? I mean, obviously, they're young. You never know where it's all going to go. And sometimes these kids have to play a basketball or some
Well,
other
that's what I
sport.
was gonna say. I mean, shit, he might, who knows? And this is the other thing too. We talk about all the time. Like, these are the times and these are the ages, right? Right up until about sixth, seventh grade. Play every sport, man. Go do other sports. You never know what you're gonna be best at, right? Go to another sport where maybe you're not. Maybe it's not your sport, right? Know what it's like to not be the star on the team. That kind of
I think
stuff.
he's a
Like, that's where
laxer
you should
too.
be
I think
doing that.
I think Jake's a laxer also.
That's
So
that makes me even
laxer
more excited,
basketball. I think laxer basketball
dude.
football. I think are the terms.
Lacrosse is, my God, I love it. I think it's one of the most underrated sports, especially. I mean, look, we know it's big here in the Northeast and the DMV and whatnot, but if you can do that stuff for your footwork and your hand stuff, like all of that, and add the physicality, man, I love it. But I love this kid too. Another good kid, right? He goes out there and he probably takes it. It's probably harder when he goes home to hear it from his old man than it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
from us. But
definitely.
he does a great job and he does it with like, he's happy to be out there.
All right, so let's see if we got. Is there anyone else? I have a couple other guys. I think I can point out. Who do you? Anyone you want to point out? I'll bring up.
Well, I wanted to couple guys like some of our I think Devin Love, who played for us with the Beasts, right? I think he deserves a
Okay.
um little bit of
Oh yeah,
a little bit
yeah,
of love for love, right?
yeah,
Five
yeah.
nine, 160, right around a 5 flat 40. I'd like to see him obviously get faster. I think that'll come a little bit. I think he needs to work a little bit harder, but you're going to see some highlights of him where he just has extreme. He's very good with his body control. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I think he needs to get stronger. I think, and this is not a knock, I think he's been able to get away with a lot at a young age because he's just been bigger than and better than people. I think if he really wants to take it to that next level, I think he has the ability to do that, but I think he really needs to want to do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he has. I mean,
Oh,
I know his father, right?
yes.
Yes, he's one of the most built human beings I've ever seen in my life. So
Monster.
yes, yes,
I told him the other day, I said, I love when you're here because I know I'm safe.
he is. Was he at the event? By the way, I wasn't
He
sure.
was there.
Oh, he was. I must have missed him, but he's definitely he is a big guy. I don't just mean big size wise. I mean jacked.
So like
Monster.
Devin's gonna start once he starts lifting, he's gonna have the
Yes.
capability to get real
And
put
that's the
together.
stuff I think will separate him, right?
Yep.
And that'll separate him. I know he had a good year. I think playing, 7-on-7 was good. I think that helped him a little bit. But like I said, like when he goes out, I think he needs to do more of these types thing, because not that they knock him down a level, but they, I think, kind of check him and put him back in a lane. Like, hey, I gotta continue to do this to continue to get where I want to go. But I did want to give him some love because he went out there and he was impressive against some of the older kids as well.
Cool. Anybody else you want?
Look,
Reinhardt, maybe Reinhardt.
That was a kid. Now look, Heath Reinhardt, right? 2026 kid from Wall, receiver DB, 5'9", 170. He ran a 4.9, 140, a 4.5 flat shuttle. He jumped 8.7. Now he had to leave early for a lax game, so he didn't get to compete. But just watching him and some of the things that he did, man, you could tell he is an athlete. Reminds me a lot of a Kyle Various type, right? Like that guy that can do a lot of things. I could easily see this kid being, you could probably line him up in the slot. You could put him as an outside receiver. You could put him in the backfield. DB wise, he could probably play all four spots. He could probably come off an edge as a rover, something of that nature. Probably return punts, kicks, do all that stuff. You could just tell his athletic ability. And then, when we were doing individual and we were working receiver stuff, like you could tell he gets in and out of his breaks extremely well. His agility skills are there, and his hands, right? And I don't know if football's even his number one sport, to be honest with you. I think he's just kind of one of those kids that's like, hey, coach, like I'll do it, but I think if he really wanted to focus on it, man, I think the sky would be the limit for this kid, especially at a program like Wall. I mean, I couldn't imagine him with Tony, right? The two of those guys, like in the slots or doing something of that nature, like, holy moly,
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. He's a kid that has a good upside potential. I've talked to him quite a bit. Like he's reached out a lot on
right. That I've talked to him a lot, and this was the first time I actually got to see him in person, which was cool. I wish I would have seen more of him, but I'm also not going to fault him for go play another sport, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And then let's see, we got. I want to talk about two. They play QB for us in with the Beasts.
Yeah,
I think they have one's a real young guy, the other one's a 2028.
Cool.
Cole, this picture. Oh no, his picture isn't up yet. Hold on, let me pull it up here. Here we go. Cole Seiler. There we go. Cole Seiler, 2028. He's going to St. Joe's Metuchen.
Correct, which I think is an excellent move.
Yep, I think it's a good spot for him. He's a big kid.
Big kid, yes.
He's already probably. I don't know if he's a 6.
Let's see. What did he put on his? He has
5'11".
On his card, he's 5'10", 175. I think he's more.
He might be a buck 80.
He might be a little bit bigger.
Dude.
Yes, might be 5'10", 185, maybe something like that. Look, we know he's not going to run the fastest 40. He's not the most
drop back guy.
Right. He's not the most agile or agility guy, right? But he's going to be able to stand in the pocket and deliver a throw, right? He knows when to let it go. He's got pretty good touch. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a hell of a quarterback in terms of like leadership abilities, right? He controls and demands the huddle. And we saw that a lot this year with the 7-on-7 club, where he was basically, he was the guy and he could chuck it around with a lot of other guys, right? And they won a lot of games because of him. I think, like you said, that St. Joe's Metuchen move, I think is a great move for him, right? I think it's a perfect program for him to go there and be successful for a lot of, like I said, I would think he could kind of go in there. I would maybe not as a freshman, but as a sophomore, put his name on the map and say, hey, I'm, this should be my job.
Have the opportunity to play. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
He's got a strong arm. I like his delivery. He works at it. He's a good decision maker. I think he's going to continue to keep working on his the physical part of his body.
Correct.
He continues to do that as he's maturing. And listen, he's big enough. He's gonna if you can hit him. He's
Right.
like
He's not. Listen,
he's not gonna
he's got it right. Like he has the framework that now once he gets to that puberty, like maturity part where now the muscles actually start to show, and he puts that time in the weight room doing that stuff. I think it's going to change his body drastically. I think he'll be like, I think it'll
a
help
tree.
and
It'd be like a
aid in
tree,
everything
you
he
know.
does. Absolutely. Right.
All right. All right. Let's.
Yeah, Cole's going to be great, man. I love him. Good kid.
Yeah. And then I'm curious to see what this guy's young. He hasn't hit puberty yet or anything like that. So there's a lot that has to go on here. He's probably 30. I'm pretty sure, maybe 31. No, he's 12. Yeah, maybe he's 31. I'm not.
Who are you talking about, Nick?
Sure. Yeah, Nick Galercio.
Galercio, Nick, great. He's a 2029.
2029.
Another wall kid.
A reclass down the line too, depending on when he hits puberty. He hasn't puberty, but he throws the ball well, and just from I mean I camp he did very well, but just from seeing him 7-on-7 against older kids, he's got a toughness to him where he'll stand in there and he's not intimidated to throw.
Yep.
And can handle if he makes a mistake, you know.
Yes.
So, which
he's willing to get coached, right? Like, and dad's all in it, right? Willing to do whatever he whatever needed to be done. You know, tried out the whole tackle in the spring type of thing. Not the right move for him, which is, you know, self-awareness and understands that, like, hey, this is not the world I need to be in. You know, I need to be doing 7-on-7s where I could, you know, learn how to read on one side and, you know, go from this to that and also that stuff. And then let the physical stuff take care of itself, right? Like as he gets older, you know, bigger, stronger, faster kind of comes with it. But as long as he's willing to be coached, understand certain things too, right? And then he just like to just be out there. The kid loves football too, right? And that's, you're kind of seeing a trend with a lot of these guys that come to these showcases is they want to do the extra stuff. It's not mom or dad forcing them to do it. Like these guys are in their ear about it. Like, hey, can I go to this? Can I do that? And look, he's a competitor, right? Like, cause he gets fired up, right? I mean, even 7-on-7 stuff, we've seen him, you know, he's gone out there and played defense when, you know, that really kind of might not be his thing, or maybe he didn't want to, but he's just willing to compete and get better. I'm excited. I hope he stays, you know what I mean? Like I want to see him progress and move along in our organization where now he gets a year older, gets to see all the, you know, gets to do it now the second time through and then continue to build that process. But, you know, a lot of upside to him. Excited to hopefully see him continue to grow.
Yeah, he's shown some really good potential. He's got to do it. I think I want to say he plays for Wall. I'm not 100% sure. I know he's from Wall. I think he plays for Wall. I think, but you know that's you just got to keep getting better and better. But yeah, so that kind of wraps up the guys we're bringing up. Let's bring a couple of clips up.
Because some of the guys that we didn't even really that we haven't really talked about, we can go through and you'll see as well, you know, in some of the clips, and then we can kind of talk them as we kind of go through with the drone footage and whatnot. Because there's a couple guys in here that some guys that we've seen a couple times, it's pretty cool to see them change and do that kind of stuff, and then compete.
Right. It's so slow. It takes forever to bring these things up. It's crazy. It's like, okay, boop, 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 boop. All right. But yeah, this is good though. All right, let me get this here. 512. It keeps making me go back to the beginning and then go through each folder. And I don't know why it does that. It's like maybe it's refreshing. I don't know. It's weird. All right, and then I know we started at 2079. And
I like this kid too. But there's clips on him we can talk about him when we get there. Let's see. I think our first one is Weaver, right?
Yeah, Weaver best. Yeah. What's up, bud? You all right? You're streaming? I have dog duty.
Yeah, was it 0179? Yeah, okay, here. First one. Cool.
Let me play this. You see it pretty good?
Yeah, look, yeah, it looks great. Absolutely.
Okay, good. All right, here we go.
All right, so first clip you got here, you got Zamir Weaver, one of our MVPs at QB. He's throwing to other than Thompson at receiver, this guy hands down, Tristan Bester at 2027, going to St. Joe's Metuchen. Receiver wise, he was phenomenal. Okay, like he was right there as to where an MVP, and then getting covered by, I believe that's Stallone in there, covering him on this first route, right? So you can see Weaver kind of, you can see his footwork, you see his delivery, puts the ball in perfect spot right there, right? Drops it in there, boom, money, right? And that's going against the linebacker MVP. And then as we progress here, go on the other side, we got Clay Freeman, who we spoke to. He's throwing to Julian Simpkins, who's a Sayreville kid, and then he's covered by our younger kid MVP Murphy, right? So,
Bubba Murphy. All right, this clip here, we got.
Is this the next one?
Yeah, Purnell to.
Yes, so Lance Purnell,
covered by
QB. He's a Piscataway kid. Okay. What year? Purnell he's another 2027 kid, 5'11",
He's a big guy
140.
too.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to talk to him on the clip, right? And look, he's throwing to Padilla, who's the West Orange guy, and he's covered by Miller, who was the a DB MVP. You're talking about look, and you can see so what we did here too. We brought some pressure from the guys D-line wise, little get off, right? Kind of had them run at the QBs, kind of a little sense of urgency, right? So you could see some of our D-line guys going at it there too. But I like this kid, Dave. Landon Purnell, like I said, Piscataway kid, so good public school. If that's, where he's at right now. Fun kid to talk to. He was pretty damn funny, to be honest with you. I'd like to see his footwork get a little better. I think he kind of overstrides on this throw here. But other than that, I mean, he's an athletic kid. He's another one that could be, a little something.
Have a little better ball carry too.
Yep, you see right here where it's kind of like an overstride, right? That space is a little bit too much.
Yeah, and the very far back. So he's got to drive the ball more.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's a good one. Let's go to the next. Oh, I don't know why I keep doing this. Okay. Let me see. 2081. We got
next clip here. You'll see the guy we just talked about, Talercio, throwing a side pot, right? Covered by Ethan Zakharowski, Ethan, I believe. Ethan was a late sign up. He's an East Brunswick kid, 2028. So if you look at this picture right here, right, all of these guys are relative same age. Okay. And you'll see here, Nick kind of delivers right on the throw. Bam. And a great route by Saipot, right? Like watch him sink his hips. He sinks his hips, boom, right by him. Bam, great hands. I'd like to see him explode more after the catch, but you can see he's got big hands. And then this is another kid that I like, Dave, and he's come to a bunch of our stuff. He plays for Mars 7-on-7. Okay. This quarterback right here, Jacob Halpin from Central Regional down here, like Seaside Heights area, lefty kid, right? Got a nice ball, throws a nice ball. And this was another intriguing kid playing receiver here. This is Sam Jean Marie from Livingston High School, just a freshman. But let's talk about his freaking measurables, okay? Because they were on a whole different. I mean, let me find his stuff here. Got it right here. So he's about 5'10", 200 pounds, and him and Miller, right, literally look like the same human. But he's only going to be 4.97. Dave, he can move.
Let me pull him up real quick.
Yeah, because he's
Uh,
yoked.
Great.
Also, he has not played football very long. So some of those skills, intangibles that some of these guys have been doing or have done in the past, this is all new to him. So he was literally like a blank book out there, and we were kind of just writing the narrative. He was, but him and Miller from Hamilton looked like twins, to be honest. And like he's a he was a receiver DB type kid, running back kid. Obviously because he's a bigger frame. They had him play some linebacker and D line last year, which I don't know if that's really where he's going to be, but you can see from the clip, he's a big dude. Nice head move
he's
there.
got that. All right, there he is. Let's see if we can pull him up real quick. We'll stop the screen there. Just to give you an idea of the size.
Yep.
That's a 2028. That's an 8th potential Division I player, and that's how we say Sam Jean Marie, who's is at Livingston High School freshman.
Yeah, he's a freshman.
Yeah,
2027 kid.
Jean Marie, 2027.
I mean, if you want, that's a freshman in high school, ladies and gentlemen. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? Like there you go. So when we're referencing like measurables and things like that, like that's a human that may have hit puberty already. Yeah. It's still growing, right? But like I said, new to the game. So some of those things that like, knowing football and all that kind of stuff, like those are things that are going to come with it. But I mean, look, and he did a lot. He was covering people. He was catching passes. He was running around, agility wise. Those measurables and stuff. Like it was good. He's gonna have. He's got a huge upside too to follow through.
Yeah, I think what he shows here is.
I mean, watch this stick, bang, ball gone. Good. I mean, look, like whoop whoop.
Sticks here. Yeah. So let's see.
Boop, boop. Like you watch him stick, go, whew, big time.
He's got to work on his quickness a little bit, but like he has an ease how he just elevated there too.
Yeah, like whoop. Okay, like and that stuff comes. Like I said, I don't. If this is his second year of playing football ever in his life, then that's a lot.
All right, this is Cole to
his future teammate Tristan Bester, and that's Tony Creedle, our #1 overall MVP. So you can watch some good stuff here. Little out, Tony bites.
Bester's good. He's fluid, dude. Bester's fluid.
Oh, he's great. I'm telling you, he was
fluid
right
dude.
there MVP wise to take home, something. I mean, he caught a lot of passes. He did a lot of things. Physical. He's short. He's compact. He ran a 5 flat 40, but he did jump an 8.8.
That ball, yeah, that's a good ball.
Yeah, perfect ball from Seiler.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next.
I'd like to see his footwork a little bit. Boom. Good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always going to be my thing with Cole, is that he just needs to kind of work his feet more. Here you'll see Talercio to Murphy.
Murph. Okay.
Go Murph.
Murph got him there.
Oh yeah, you did. Woo! Look, you see the eyes in the backfield. That's Simpkins. Julian, he's a Sayreville kid. On the coverage there, but you could see Murph get him right there. And then here we have this is Eric Beach to Devin Grant with Stallone on the coverage.
Which one? The one before?
Oh, the last coming up right here. There's a second part to that clip.
Oh, sorry. Here you go.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. It's a longer clip. It starts at 22.
Oh.
The clip we just.
There we go.
Yeah, it's at 22 on this one, I think.
All right, here we go. Beach, Devin Grant.
Yeah, and Devin Grant, that's another guy we haven't talked about yet. Another big kid, right? And he's only a 20. He's a 20. Let me Grant he's a 2028 as well, Dave. So you're talking this kid's a 2028, 6 foot, 155, real long kid. Speed's gonna come hopefully, but another big kid. But you can see here in the clip, right? Like Eric throws a great ball, timing, bang, good spot. Stallone drives and then rips it out of his hands, right at the end there, which, great job playing through the hands. But a great ball by Beach. Good timing, right?
Yeah, very good timing.
Little play fake, boom.
I'd like to see Stallone. I know he's got the linebacker stance. They probably put him in, but you gotta relax the hands a little more. You gotta relax them. All right, here we go. No one plays with their hands down like that in college.
Yeah,
you gotta relax the hands.
This next clip, let's see. This one's it's a little broken up, but this is Weaver to Jean Marie, who kind of just puts the defender on his tush on the other side, and then up top. Let me see. That's why I didn't really label it. Up top, it looks like I can't tell who's throwing.
Doesn't have anything there,
but they're throwing to. That looks like Diggs on the coverage.
We'll go to the next one. Lance Purnell against Padilla.
Yeah, this one's. Yeah.
I mean, Lance
and Creedle's on the coverage. This is a great play. This is a great play.
Creedle rip it out?
Nope, kept it in. Tony's got to keep his head down. I got to keep playing through the hands. I'd like to see Padilla elevate, right, and go get this thing, be a little bit more aggressive. I also would like, obviously, that ball to be out in front, obviously, over top of his shoulder where it's him or no one. All right, so this is Aiden Benmere, right? Another guy we had, quarterback. He did a lot of things, throws the ball well, good spot. That's Thompson.
Too much of a
Love on the coverage, right? I would have seen Love. I would like to see his eyes back and then pull it down, as he elevates. But overall, not a bad play.
All right, here we go. Interception by Josiah Miller.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. He actually turns the wrong way and then adapts.
100%, which gives you his athleticism, right? All right, sees it. Oh, he adjusts. I'll adjust. I'd like to see him elevate, obviously, and go get it, but that's a hell of an athletic play.
It's Seiler to Best.
Another Seiler to Bester. Not a very good ball. Very good coverage by Creedle, right? Doesn't allow any separation. He closes the gap the second he's there. He's physical with him. In his hip, boom, he breaks, I break. Cole needs to obviously drive that thing, whether it's there or not.
Dead driver, correct. All right. Freeman to Devin Love. There's Freeman.
Great route.
All right, same thing. Timing. Great catch by
Great catch.
Love.
Yep.
That ball's got to be outside, though, right?
Absolutely. So it's got to be over the top of his shoulder. Throw that thing to the back pylon.
Coverage is there
right now.
Yep. All right, here we go. We got nothing on this 110.
This is Coach covering.
This is what?
That's Coach Warren covering.
Okay. Then I guess you got open.
I don't ask. Listen, I don't ask questions. Here you got Talercio to Simpkins. Thompson on the coverage. Good ball.
There's a good ball.
Yep.
Good ball.
Steps in to watch Nick step into it. Bang. Good. The second he breaks, that ball's out.
So that's
nice pitch and catch.
Thrown to Simpkins. That's good play. And then Brandon Thompson. Brandon Thompson's there. You see, Brandon Thompson's contact because otherwise, good recovery. Just needs to stay in contact.
Yeah, a little wide in his stance at the start too, obviously, right. And then obviously his makeup speed helps. And then on the next one, as you play it through, once you get to 13 seconds, you'll see this is Miller just literally erasing a route and then playing through the hands for an INT.
Yeah.
You know, that just physically
That's it.
dominate. Here's Eric Beach to Bester. Padilla's on the coverage. Great ball. Obviously, you want to see him. You want to see the catch secured on the first one, you know. But Eric puts it out there where it's him or no one.
I just want to watch Eric's feet here. Let's see. Excellent drop. Good foot. See Eric's base. Like this is the thing I think that separates him.
Yeah, his footwork's great. Like you could tell, he's been coached.
Nice base. Nice base. Nice. Yeah, really nice base there. Works up in the pocket.
Boom.
Drives the ball. It's like, well, I mean, the 3/4 thing is everybody does it now. I don't know, but all right, let me go back. How do I get out of this? It's unhide my two bar. Show two bar. How do I go to the next clip? I don't know why it expanded the screen here. But, okay. All right, good. All right, I'm figuring it out. All right, let's go to the next one. There's nothing I think on the next one.
Yeah, it's Zamir Weaver. He hits an overthrow, throw into Jean Marie with Stallone on the coverage. It's just a vertical route. This is kind of one of those things where you can see he puts it in a spot where him or no one. But the receiver obviously has to get a better job, you know, getting more width on that fade ball and kind of just letting it go.
All right, our PBU here by Josiah Miller.
Yep, going against Tony here, and River playing D as well. Boom, eyes back. Boom, good job. Yeah, and that's with
so
Tony, you know, and Tony's explosive off the line of scrimmage.
You're very explosive. So squeeze that.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. River wants to play D there, huh?
Diggs working against you got the number 1 DB here working against the number 1 QB or number 1 receiver. Number 1 DB, number 1 receiver here. So good footwork. Good job. And this is Clay. Yeah, Clay's throwing here.
That's throw earlier.
Like to see him get that ball out, right?
Yeah, he's waiting.
If he throws if he throws that to that back pylon, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, throws it now. He's waiting. So especially with speed, that's going to be the okay. So here we got. I think it's
that's Seiler to Bester
Central
with
kid.
Padilla on the coverage.
I don't know what that was. Okay. Stallone. So that's good jam, good physicality. Okay, crap ball there.
Yep, that's helping.
Stallone
that
said,
was
thank you.
Thank you.
He played for who? Mars?
Huh?
It was in 18.
Mars, he played for I believe 15 years this year.
Yes, I figured. Okay.
I don't know. He's been with them for a while.
Yeah, he must be younger. All right. Decent ball. Beach, I guess. Looks like Beach.
Yeah, it's Eric.
It's a long throw. Is this Tony?
No. I think Tony's in coverage. It looks like I think he's throwing to either Miller or Jean Marie. I think might be Miller.
Pretty good coverage, good rubber catch. All right, and this is Stallone maybe, and
this is Jean Marie, Stallone.
That was the first one before. Yeah.
Got it.
Right?
Yep.
All right. Pretty good stuff. That was good. Good breakdown. Great job. All right, so that's an Olorese camp. Great. A little analysis. For those of you, it probably more entertaining for some of you in clips
Right.
than when you see it in totality. Sometimes you're like, okay, he's talking through this guy, he's talking through that guy. But it's we wanted to give those guys so we want to give those guys an opportunity to get recognized, show some. Plus, you can see just comments from me and Coach D, some of the things that on different plays that got to be better. But you could see like certain things that are really excellent. I mean, Josiah Miller's breaks were real good, and I'll tell you, drone footage is great
It's amazing.
because it slows down the game a little bit, like when
Yep.
you're watching it, so you get you could see things that are done well and not as done well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching it from up top. So it's for someone who doesn't know, it might like, oh, it doesn't look like it's moving that fast. Yeah, because drone cover, when you see it in a drone, you can really see like the movements and stuff, and the errors in the movements and the good things in the movements. So
It gives you that, you can literally see those little itty bitty, things that separate, why was this successful or why didn't this work, right? Like it's those little things, those little tidbits that you can now see on film. And then, when we point them out, now you can see it even more so. So I definitely think it's definitely a different angle. And I love using the drone, like for as much as I can, even to break stuff down. Like it's better than a tight shot. It's better than,
it is.
any type of,
Slows it down.
press box or whatever. It's just so good that you can kind of get
You're on
those.
top.
You can literally tell. Yeah. Like you can tell if a guy's in a 1 or a 3, right? Technique. If, I'm not guessing, or I'm, squinting to see it through the tight shot, so I definitely think it's something that is phenomenal. And then for this stuff, even more so.
No, yeah. So those you get a chance to look at it, and if you're an athlete looking to get promoted, you go to myfootballcamps.com/D1 promo. Amazingly, even though our headers did not show before, now somehow
They're up.
they're showing. It's amazing. I don't know how that even happened. I didn't do anything, Derek. I didn't touch anything. So we'll be back on
Who knows?
Thursday. Maybe we should
Thursday. Thursday with Coach Bick from
maybe
St.
Tuesday.
Anne's.
We don't have to be as long, but maybe we break down a few things each week. Maybe we could break down some of the beasts, the older players on the beasts. Maybe showcase some of those guys, and maybe we'll do that next week. Maybe we'll do not as long, but like cover some clips on them, highlight some of our guys, and then obviously when we get, I'll tell you this, the next camps, even if it's camps outside of here, any camps we run on, we'll get the coach from that camp to come on and talk about them. And whether he has clips or he just has headshots, whatever, we can talk about those guys, whatever it is, and continue to get those kids recognition. So we'll see you on Thursday. Coach Bick is Thursday from St. Anselm.
Yep.
That could be a good one. So
receiver, tight ends, recruiting coordinator, right? So we had, obviously Chad, who's the DB coach, special teams coordinator, right? He suggested, hey, talk to Coach Bick because he's the recruiting guy specifically, right? So dive into that world even more so. And I think that stuff that Coach Brain gave us was absolutely phenomenal coming at it from a Division II level where a lot of these guys, can really kind of start to, hey, this can really help us. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, I think that'll be a phenomenal podcast, talking more about that stuff, especially understanding more of their recruiting side, skill players, and going from there. And pretty good numbers today, even though it mostly was analysis, which is not always the most thrilling, you know what I mean? But it's great for the players to so you see this. It's something that's necessary, and we'll cut these up for you guys, which will make it obviously a lot more entertaining, and you'll be able to see each player, so you can just watch that person's clip, which will be great.
Yep. And like the other thing too, like when you're watching this or you're listening to us break it down, don't look at it as it's this individual or it's this person, right? You look at it like, hey, I'm a quarterback. Okay, if I'm throwing this type of route, like what do I need to do? Or hey, if I'm a DB, like, all right, well, this guy did that, but maybe I should do this, or you know what I mean? Like that's the type of stuff when you're watching clips like this, take the coaching not for who it is, take the coaching for the position itself, right? When we're talking about like, go up and get a ball, or hey, run this route tighter this way, or that's the type of things that when you're listening to us, don't just sit here and oh, I'm not that guy, so I don't need to listen. It's use it as a reference for your position and things like that. That can really help.
I think that's a big deal what you just said, and it can reference it for your position. That is the thing that makes the difference here. What did this person do well? Do I do this? Do I not do this?
Right.
And understand, kind of how that works, because I think that's a big thing that players look without watching film. You start to look at it like, well, I'm better than that.
I'm not that guy. I don't play like that. But I mean, you look at it like this too.
I'm
like,
just better than that. I'm better
Yep.
than that guy type
Yeah.
of deal. That ain't the case. You know what I mean?
Also,
So
you can look at it like, hey, oh, well, that guy's fast, so he did this way, right? Like, okay,
right.
if I'm not that speed, then how do I, you know what I'm saying? Or this guy used his body because he's bigger or whatever. Just take every little itty bitty tidbit that you can and roll with it from there, man.
I absolutely, that's 100% the way to go. Great podcast. It's fun for me and you. I enjoy
It's fun because
it.
we were, you see these guys live and you see them do whatever, and obviously you do your best, but you can't always catch everybody, right? And you can't always see every little one-on-one. But like you said, you can look at it and you can really kind of take a look and you can see, what these guys need to improve on or what was good, what was bad, just overall. But I think the one thing that you did see is guys continuously getting reps, getting up there, doing different things, running different routes, right? Covering guys from this position, getting dropbacks with pressure from D-line guys, where they're working moves inside, outside, what's your takeoff like, all that kind of stuff. And I think all of that stuff collectively, is why these showcases and these opportunities to showcase your skills ultimately aid these guys and help them in their paths.
Oh, I think that's a big difference maker, is that it aids you in your overall path to become successful. So, all right, until next time. Let's see. Until next time, till Thursday. Right?
Thursday it is,
and we're good. So, all right, let's get out the show and start our day.